Hope for the Best. Written by Vanessa Lafleur. Narrated by Terilli. Part 1. Summer of 2090. Chapter 1. The northernmost part of the city stood impossibly still in a motionless state of decay. Another storm crawled along the horizon, waiting for the perfect moment to attack with torrential rains and destructive winds. Dark, disintegrating buildings lined both sides of the street in what at one time had been a busy business district. Walls bowed toward the littered street, roofs sagged and crumbled onto rotting floors, and the windows that weren't boarded up stared out as empty voids of darkness, sightless eyes that offered the false hope of a place to hide, to rest, to think. Lareina's worn tennis shoes slapped rhythmically against cracked concrete. Resilient creeping weeds reached for her ankles, while heavy thudding bootsteps echoed between the buildings, urging her forward and strengthening her determination to elude Detective Galloway. She didn't bother to glance over her shoulder. She already knew he barreled toward her, not catching up, but not slowing down either. Over the past week, she had run from one end of the city to the other in an attempt to circumvent the detective. To her advantage, she had spent 2 years living on the streets of San Antonio, and her knowledge of the city gave her an edge in the high-stakes game of hide-and-seek. She knew what time of the day she could avoid bystanders, where she could lose Galloway in a crowd of people, and places she could hide when caught off guard. Empty storefronts blurred by in a rush of faded color. Gusty winds whistled through spaces between the damaged buildings, plastering her long hair over her eyes and blurring her vision. Although these challenges didn't slow her down, outrunning the detective wasn't an option. 3 of her strides equaled 1 of his, and although she was quick, endurance to continue at that pace wasn't on her side. Only hours earlier she'd woken up, warm and comfortable, to the sound of soft rain on the roof of the public library. It was her second Galloway-free day, and she was starting to think maybe she'd lost him. Luckily, she had planned her escape routes ahead of time and managed to climb through a basement window. It had given her a head start, but not enough to escape the detective permanently. Lungs burning, legs aching, heart racing, Lareina knew she needed to stop and rest, if only for 5 minutes. Abruptly, she made a right turn into an alley that cut between the buildings to the next block, dodging overturned trash cans, empty crates, and split bags of trash years overdue for collection. Feeling lightheaded, she searched the alley for a dark corner, a crevice in the wall, or anything to hide under. Up ahead, a chest-high chain-link fence divided the alley in half. On the other side of the fence, cluttered with old mattresses, dumpsters, and other unidentified rotting debris.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?